Hey guys, Eyes of Neji here. What up? Thanks for dropping by from our deck list. Uh, let's get right into it. And before we do, just like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Really appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me. So shout out to you. You know who you are. Join the Discord if you haven't already. And yeah, let's talk about what we're playing. So nothing's really changed here, right? So we're still playing 3 Man with the Mark. We're waiting on our third CR, but he is coming in. By the way, the CRs look so pretty. Cannot get over them. So 3 man, 1 Circuit. Circuit really, hasn't changed for a little while now. I think the 1 is good. You don't need to change playing just 1. I think that 2 is fine if you're main decking more raw stuff. Or even maybe like I might consider picking up another one of these in the future because it meshes well with the ODION stuff when you play 2. There's a combo eventually that will come out with that meshing well. And then 3 Anubis. Anubis obviously very good. Searching your man with the mark. We have our CRs coming in Monday. So that's awesome. And then we have our 3 Treasures of the Kings. The other part of the engine, obviously, a great card. And then our 1 Temple of Kings. Haven't really felt the need to play more than 1. Doesn't start any combos, just kind of an enabler, right? Feel like you don't really need to play more than the OG. And then getting into our traps part of the engine, if you will. 3 of the Apophis, the Swamp Deity, and 1 Serpent. This ratio I felt really good about recently, especially the 1 Apophis, because like you're finding kind of infinite ways to set this off of, right? Like whether it's Rabbit or the Field Spell. So there's just it's really easy to set this, and like this gets you to any like all these, right? So I think this ratio is good. I have seen people play just 1 and 2, which I get. Makes sense, but personally, I think hands are just way better going first if you start out with one of these, because then you're immediately, if you get hand trapped, you're kind of like if you have both of these and you get hand trapped after that, you're kind of ending on at least 2 negates, right? So I just felt that's better to end on going first. As well as one of these, and one of these, one of these. Yeah, so that, and then our Verdict. The Verdict has become clutch a lot. I think Verdict is a mandatory one of in the deck. It's actually a good card to set off of man. Then we're getting into 3 Imperms. Great card. Can't say enough about it. Imperm's just one of the cards of all time. It's a trap card and helps break boards and interrupt. Speaking of breaking boards, we are playing 3 evenly matched. Reason being, after testing a lot, we have seen a lot of lists use evenly in the main. Some that don't, some that do. But I think for the pure version, this does help going second a lot, because even if they, like, let's say they had Judgment, it's fine. Like they've used the Judgment for one of your would-be normal summons. And if they don't have Judgment, then you're already baiting out more interaction than what the card is worth. Or rather, I should say, than what you've committed to the board. So essentially, when you use evenly in whatever format, the idea is you want evenly to, remove more than one card that they have on their board, whether they have an Omni or not. So yeah, if you can use evenly in that sense, especially in this deck, I think you're in a good spot. And the reason remaining it is obviously because the deck does struggle going second, right? So seeing evenly really helps, as well as seeing Dominus Purge. Dominus Purge also helps a lot. It doesn't turn on Ash Blossom, right? Or sorry, doesn't turn on Tactics, but very good card. You can Ash the, I believe, Bunny. I forget what it's called, White Rabbit maybe for Malice. I think is what it's called. You can Ash that because it summons and draws, or it's not, you can purge it because it summons and draws. Yeah, so just Purge is also a really good card, I think. Surprised I'm not seeing as many Purges in these decks, probably because it's so expensive and people just don't want to pay for them, but to be honest, it feels great. And then the card that does play into Tactics, which is Ogre. Kind of back and forth on the Ogre. Really wanted to play, like, I don't know. I wanted to test out Droll, but every time I've put Droll in testing, I get ripped, like Tactics, rip the engine piece, and then I'm left with like maybe like a top deck or just set couple, which maybe not the worst thing in the world in this deck, but without a secondary engine, it makes it tough. So I felt Ogre has given me a good flexibility with removal and hand traps at the same time. And then the one Lord of Heavenly Prison. Extremely good card going first, and sometimes even second. The one Callby, the one Ultimate Slayer, and we got to show this off in the other order for you guys, though. The one Triple Tactics Talent. Yeah, like, obviously this card, I don't really need to say too much about Callby, right? But these two, insane. The reason why I'm only playing one in the main is because I am playing 2 Thrust. And then these, right? So this ratio I found to be pretty good. I do enjoy Thrust in the main because if I get double hand trapped and I have Thrust, at least I can like I can set a purge or an imperm, like an extra interruption, essentially, if I have Thrust. So that's great. And then going second, board breaking opportunities, right? I felt, even though this isn't a once per turn, I felt that having Thrust just gives me more flexibility in the deck. Let me know what you think, but I've been kind of considering throwing another Ultimate Slayer in there, maybe. But I think Thrust just performs so well right now in this deck, since I am playing Purge. If you're not playing Purge, I probably wouldn't recommend playing Thrust in the main, just because, like, I would just play evenly three of this, right? And that's it for the main deck, guys. But you may be wondering why Eclipse is outside of here. Well, the main reason is because I, in testing at 43, found that Eclipse was just bad. Like, it was fine for targeting negation. Like, that's fine. But going second, because the deck doesn't, like, OTK that easily. And it doesn't have great removal turn 1. I found it kind of difficult to just remove bodies if they have like 2 to 3 on board, and I just had Eclipse, and it was just like making it harder for myself for the crackback, right? So it in the long game, which this deck grinds well, but if you're giving your opponent more cards, it doesn't grind that well, right? We're playing the 2 Link Spider. That really hasn't changed. We did bump up our Silhouette Rabbit to 2. I felt that in the grinding game, this came in clutch, especially when you're shuffling your traps back and you want to just like get them back on board again. Silhouette Rabbit comes in handy. Next up, we are playing SP. The SP Little Knight is clutch. Nightmare Phoenix is kind of a flex spot. Since I took access code out because of the package I'm playing, I don't really need the access code, but that's also just good for like non-destruction removal in case you need it. Not that I have ran into anything like that quite yet, but then we're going Typhon, obviously. Gallic Granite Clutch going first. Also pretty good imperm bait. And then 2, we did cut these down to 2, and this guy to 1. So reason being, I found myself really only making one of him, and if I made him and his effect resolves, I'm winning. And so like if even his effect didn't resolve, I just make another one, right? And then activate him, and then I'm winning still, right? So because it's a soft once per turn. And then Divine Scorpion Beast of Circuit comes in clutch going second. Being able to fuse off like a lower attack body that your opponent has to like more easily OTK is just insane. And then these are your targets for you know what? Ultimate Slayer. If you're going to have it in the main, might as well be prepared for everything, right? So you got your Link that you can go +1 off of. You got a Fusion you can go +1 off of. You've got your Malong. You can go not really +1, but you can -1 them. And then you can go Aggregator, which obviously you guys know what that's for. So yeah, that's the extra deck and the main. So let's get into the side deck. So for the side deck, I have been back and forth about 2 of these cards, so I'll get into those later. But one Ultimate Slayer, playing another one, and then 1 Harpies in the main as well. You know, just for like extra going second if I think this is good in my matchup, and then Harpies for back row. 3 of these guys, because you know why. Don't need to explain that. 3 Fua, and we are also playing 3 Prelia. I think the drawing cards actually play a really big role in this, especially since I'm only playing the one. Like, I figured when I was thinking about this updated build is like, if I have 2 Thrust and 2 Ultimate Slayer and 3 Evenly, how am I not seeing at least one of those going second, right? Especially against like Ryzeal or Malice. If I see these 3 or Thrust or Ultimate Slayer, like I'm doing pretty well already at that point. So I figured just letting me see more cards and letting me see draw into like breakers that are better going second is just overall better, right? So that was my logic with this side deck. I just think like you're already playing board breakers against meta, so I think that's just solid, right? And then the 1 Winged Dragon of Ra, the OG, you guys know, Dangers of the Divine, and the Temple. So I want to talk about this package a little bit. So this package is interesting. I used to play this in the main, but I figured out this is extremely good going second, actually, because this you don't really want to see. It's fine if you do. You can like dodge stuff, but this is great when you search it off of Surcat. So like ideally you're baiting out interruption and like you bait on imperm or something. You only have 1 interaction point for it. And by the time you get Surcat out, if they let you resolve this, you can search this, fusion them off, get the big guy out. And at that point, if they want to like stop the big guy, it's fine because you can banish the search this and then summon your raw and board wipe. So it's really, really powerful in that sense. Obviously not quite as good because you need to actually search things, but it's still there, right? The option is still there. And I found that this package as a whole is really good going second because you get, for 3 cards, you essentially get an OTK option because of this. You get a board wipe option because of this, right? And you get a Super Poly option, right? So there's like Super Poly, OTK, board wipe, and you get raw. So it's like style points there too, right? So, yeah, I think that's a great going second. And for the last card, there's 1 card left in the side deck. I've been back and forth about this, but I think I want to try playing Eradicator more. Soul Drain's nice, but I felt maybe like going second against Malice, I got to test more. But my feeling is maybe going second. Like I don't need, if I'm just siding 3 of these in with 3 Fua, like it's probably enough. Even if they only give me 1 draw. Like worst case, if they don't want to play, if I Fua them and they don't want to play into Lancia, then they're just giving me 1 draw pass, probably like Cryptor, right? Which is honestly good enough for me. Really. So, yeah, I felt like, I don't know, especially going second, I don't need skill drain. And then going first, this is just an auto win card against like those rogue decks that that like rely on spells like Runic. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. I don't think Soul Drain's fine, but not what I will be pursuing. So let's shuffle these back into there, and then that is the deck profile, guys. So that's what we're at right now. Let me know what you guys think. I am not I am not losing raw from this deck. It's going to stay in the side for sure. It's a really fun package, and yeah, we're going to get some footage for you tonight at locals, and let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, Shinobi out.